Hello, this is Brother Ron. Today's letter comes to us from Bold Under, who writes, Dear Brother Ron, how do atheists have such a stranglehold on our American educational system? From what I gather from a few statistics I've seen, the majority of the U.S. doesn't accept the theory of evolution. Apparently, 80-some% of this country believes that the Judeo-Christian God is responsible for the creation of the universe and life on this planet. With such an overwhelming majority, how does creation science stay out of public schools? They've stripped it down enough that it isn't affiliated with any religion. It doesn't violate our constitutional rights of separation of church and state. So why has it not been taught as a viable alternative to evolution? Our president, and presumably many others in D.C., start every day with a prayer and have meetings with the Pope, so it isn't the people in power holding it back. So what's the deal? Does creationism, intelligent design, really have no leg to stand on, or what? Well, dear Bold Under, from a scientific standpoint, the answer is no. Science is based on deductions made from observing experiments in a controlled environment. Your first problem comes when you try to put a God who is not limited by our concepts of space, time, and probability into a controlled environment. God is in control, not us. So trying to confine him to a laboratory is a futile effort. Your second problem comes when you try to evaluate your observations of God using human standards. We can only evaluate what our human senses can perceive. God is more than we can perceive or comprehend. So if you try to evaluate God by human standards, you're going to get an inaccurate evaluation. It's not the atheists who have a hold on the education system, it's the science teachers. Of course God is responsible for the creation of the universe. The problem is that you cannot use the scientific method to validate the existence of God to a scientific certainty. Since you cannot use science to prove the existence of God, you should not teach God in a science class. This would violate the principle of educational validity. Educational validity means the class teaches what it claims to teach. If you advertise the class as a science class, you should only teach science. Otherwise, the class is invalid. The problem is not that science teachers don't believe in God. Many, if not most, do. But their belief is based on faith, not scientific experiments. Did Jesus not stress the importance of faith repeatedly throughout his ministry? I'm especially reminded of his comment to Thomas when Thomas demanded to see proof of Jesus' identity. We find in John 20:29, Jesus saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they who have not seen and yet have believed. Creationism should be taught in the home and in the church, but it has no place in a science class. Thank you for joining us.